Welcome to Fieldsports Britain. Coming up, we're out with top shot George Digweed learning about cartridges for duck. We're off to see Bangs Bucks and Bullseyes to try out painting by numbers using long-range paint pots. But first, you may have read about us in the papers this week. We put up a competition last week to find Britain's biggest fox. The fox in a lifetime that fox shooters or fox hunters have brought to book. Well, we found one winner over the weekend which made the Sunday Times. We think we may have found another. Here's Dennis Rowsell. Dennis contacted us to tell us about a remarkable fox he shot near his home in Somerset in March 2009. Now he wants to convince us it's a 34-pound animal, a new British record. The thing is, it's a plausible story.
Well, on the night we were out doing, or trying to do, an article for the Sporting Rifle, and on the second farm we drove in. There's a driveway in, and we spotted a fox that was sat in the field some 100 yards away. Everything went fine till I was just about to pull the trigger, and when I did, he moved, which caused me to miss. Well, that's my excuse anyway. But luckily for us, he appeared to go to the left, straight through the hedge into the next field, which is a paddock. So we moved down the lane slightly, put the lamp over the field, and luckily for us, he was sat again. When I was looking through the scope, I was beginning to think, well, this fox is further away than I think, but I could see that it was a large fox, so I was really keen to get it for the magazine. I actually killed the fox. When I went over to pick it up, I realised straight away that it was something a little bit unusual. Although the foxes in our area are quite big, this one really stood out. When I walked back to the vehicle, and the two chaps, Brian and the friend Steve Judd, who usually lamps with me, we all commented on the size.
And you took it back and you weighed it. What were the dimensions of the weight?
It was some, if I remember correctly, from the tip of its nose to the tip of its brush, it was something like 46 inches. And although I didn't weigh it on the night, I was so curious after I got back home that I thought, well, I'm going to take it out tomorrow and weigh it. And to my surprise, it was 34 pounds, and that is extremely large.
Do you ever think you'll see a fox like that again?
I'm not sure that I'd see one quite that big, but somewhere around the 25 to 30 pound mark, I wouldn't be a bit surprised.
So why are we suddenly interested in big foxes? Well, this is what started all the fuss.
The biggest fox that I've shot, I was surprised when I shot that. It was a really old boy that I've been trying to get for a little while. And when I shot him, he hardly had a tooth left in his head, but he was a wily old boy. But he only made about 20 pounds. When Keith brought this round to show me, and we weighed him up, I couldn't believe it when it made 26. I mean, I know, they are meant to be able to attain these weights if they do very well, but in all the years that I've been fox shooting, it's definitely the biggest Charlie I've ever come across. Yeah, I mean, this is an average size dog fox, so it just gives you some sort of size comparison, between the two. I mean, this one's a little bit scraggy on the back end, but just to give you a direct comparison, I mean, you can see that boy is an awful lot bigger. So they are attaining these weights, and obviously I think the whole dimension of foxes are changing as well. They're not necessarily evolving, but I think their behaviours are changing. They're becoming a lot more bold, a lot more confident, especially in suburban areas. So I think with the added size and the added confidence that they're showing, then we could encounter problems with them.
This boy is certainly a big urban fox, and it's in beautiful condition, probably because of the easy meals it's getting in gardens in the Garden of England. We had a lot of publicity about the big foxes we found, and the best bit is that the British press backed us on fox shooting. The argument went that if these animals are reaching colossal sizes, then the readers need to know about it. And only fox hunters and fox shooters are interested enough in foxes to tell them. There was even humour. Well, we believe Dennis. Foxes where he lives are simply bigger than in the rest of the UK. Even the big one he shot the night before we came to interview weighed 18 pounds, which explains why this 9-year-old is having so much trouble picking it up. We haven't sent Dennis his prize yet. Didn't I mention the prize? For the best story of Britain's biggest fox, we have a Rivers West Frontier jacket worth £95 to give away. There's still time to send in your entry. Get it to us by the 11th of January 2011.
We get rid of a lot of tungsten matrix at the shoot. The duck shoot is part of the pheasant shoot. I definitely think it performs as well as lead. You know, when we're seeing, several hundred duck shot in a day sometime, and the kills that you get, the way that birds die, without question, they behave exactly the same as a lead cartridge does. It's still the cheapest part of the day, the cartridges, but certainly when you're talking of over £1,000, 1,000, it does put on a sort of a sizable day. It puts on a fair amount of money into the day. But it's a fact of life that to shoot wildfowl now you have to be non-toxic based, and it's the best non-toxic alternative in my view on the market.
Can you put tungsten matrix through any gun?
They produce now a fibre shot cup, and you can fire them all day long, and there's no damage to the barrels because the shot is remaining inside the fibre shot cup as it goes through the barrel and exits the barrel.
Manufacturers have long looked for a non-toxic metal that has the same density and killing properties as lead.
Basically, I think lead is somewhere around 11% density, and tungsten matrix is roughly 10.8. So the degree, basically, if you have something that's too light or too hard, it will punch a hole in a live animal and go straight through it, whereas lead and other alternatives will flatten out. When it hits the bird or the animal, rabbit, etc., it will flatten out and create an energy. It will go in one side and out the other side, and unless it touches a vital organ, the bird has been hit but will fly on. I'll give you an example. Say you were on a foreshore and you were shooting geese flighting off a lock over the foreshore, and the consistent range of those geese would be 40 to 50 yards, then you know that the shots you're going to be taking are between 40 and 50 yards. So you want something that's going to perform at between 40 and 50 yards. Hence the reason that you would want something that performs very similar to lead. We've got good striking energy and flattens out. Now if you're shooting duck coming into a flight pond, where most of your shots are going to be taken at between 20 and 40 yards, whilst steel is harder and will punch more holes in, if you've got 30% more pellets in your cartridge, more pellets striking more vital areas, and that will ensure a clean kill.
Right, it was a bit of fun. As an antidote to all those cooking programs on television, we're going to be stalking Saucemans for the last part of this program at various ranges to show what we do shooting at longer range. And as you can see, we've got a collection of quarry today, colanders, non-stick pans, and we've just put a little mark in them so they're easier to see at a distance. So we're going to wander out, put those at various ranges, and then see what we can hit. And they should make a nice satisfying ding. We're also going to put out life-size roe, and we're going to put some paint out as well, because our view was, got a beautiful picture of a wild roe, could do with some improvement. So paint pots at range, see if we can make a better picture. So that's shooting at range, and that's what we're going to do next. So some mixed quarry, plates, saucepans, colander or two, and indeed over there a lovely picture of a row, and we thought, being arty types, that we'd see if we could improve that with some paint pots at range as well. Mixed ranges all over the place, and down at the far end of the field you can see there is a steel plate. So we're going to see what we can do at these ranges, and as you can see from the camera, they're spread out, and we're going to get on them and dial in and show you shooting at range. Now without data you can't shoot distance. You need to know your bullet drop and how to adjust your sights, and you collect that in a table and you dial that in to correct for the distance, and to do that you need to range and then correct. At that point, because you've tested it, you should have the confidence that it's going to go, reasonably enough, where you're aiming. At that point we then get into wind, and we're not going to cover wind today, and we haven't got any wind today, so it makes it a bit easier for me, but we'd also then judge the wind and dial the wind correction in, again based on experience and data in our data table. So let's get into the quarry and start thinning these plates out and whacking out these saucepans. Now then, where are these pesky saucepans? Hiding behind corn stubble. Now David's asked us to do something along the lines of the paint pot challenge, so we're going to make a work of art, but just to make it really pleasant for me, he's asked me to shoot individual small sample paint pots one at a time in front of the target. Prone position, nice and steady, and as we said before, breathing, trigger, stop, weld and follow through, controlling the rear of the rifle, right arms up, take pressure off diaphragm and minimise disruption of the shot from breathing, pulse rate, etc. Get nice and steady and nice and settled. Not that the pressure's on or anything. Right, I'm going to put one in the zero target first so I can see where it's going. Straight through the middle of the yellow, so that's a good sign. If we're doing this rapidly, we wouldn't move our head or anything else, we would literally reload like this, with minimal movement on the target. Right, top paint pot in theory. Top paint pot it is, although it took the bottom on with it, slightly. Right, let's see how quickly we can work through these babies. Okay, top paint pot, next paint pot down. Next paint pot down. Next paint pot down. Picking them off one at a time. Okay, so here's our artwork anyway. So as you can, we quickly checked at that range, and as you can see, exactly on the money. And then paint pots, the little pyramid here. You can see all of these pots down here, all got holes in the middle of them. As we shot each one individually off that pyramid and created a lovely work of art here. Mr. Roebuck has definitely benefited from a paint job from all of those cans. So Turner Prize maybe, not sure, but that's paint pots at extreme ranges.